Okay, I've got the shafts moved down a little bit. Play with my feed and speed a little bit. I did look at my reference manual, and it calls for, if I'm correct on this, 1-inch stainless to be turning at 60 feet per minute, or stainless 60 feet per minute. 1-inch stainless needs to be turning at 260 RPMs. I'm currently running 300, so I got that about right. I noticed up in this area it did real good with a light cut. When I got here it started chattering again. I don't know if it shows up on the camera. So I just bumped up my feed a little bit, and it still chattered, bumped it up again, and it did better. But it left it a little coarse. And right about here it started chattering again, but then I got through there and I got down to the end here. Not to the very end, but where my steady rest would let me get, and I backed up nice and slow. Gave me a nice place right there to take a reading. So I got a good place down here and a good place down there where I can take readings, and we'll mic them out and see what they come up to be. And that mics out at 31.5. Right down here, my smooth area. That comes out to be 31 even. So half thou difference between one end and the other. I'm not concerned about that. So now that I know I got my tailstock where it needs to be and I'm turning straight, nice straight shaft, no taper, I'm going to flip back around, pick up my carbide cutter here, and see if I can hog off some of this, start getting her down. A couple of things I've done to try to eliminate some of this chatter I'm getting. I found that my cross slide was a little, not too loose, but a little loose, so I tightened up on my gibs a little bit, tightened my gibs on my compound rest. Of course I shortened that up, so, and I'm still learning, so just gotta learn the speeds and speeds. Some of you more experienced people out there are probably saying, feed it faster, feed it faster. Well, I'm learning. Leave comments. I've also got a link on, got a post on hobbymachinist.com where I'm also doing this. Hopefully some of these guys in here will watch this and give me some tips as to what I'm doing wrong, things I can do to make it better. I'm going to go ahead and shorten this one up a little bit also. I know they say rigidity, rigidity, rigidity. Alright. Now we're at 231. Now I'm going to go down to 1 inch. So I can take 31 thou off of it. 27. So I think this time I'm going to try getting a nice finish. That way if I screw up, I've still got some room to play with it. So I wish I was more like some of the experienced guys out there and give you some definite information, but this is the best I can do right now. If anybody out there is learning, then maybe you'll learn something along with me. Shop is any cleaner, but anyhow, there's my mill lifting crane for when I would set the stuff up in here. Well, I've tried just about everything I can to get that chatter out. I even went up to my next speed, 560, and that didn't do any better. I tried increasing my speeds. I went up to a 1/10 of an inch per feed. I'm not having any luck at all with that. I rechecked my tool bits, make sure they're on center. Rechecked everything, make sure it was tight. So I went back to my comfort zone, down to 150 RPMs. And doing real good right now, no chatter. It is a little slower, but I got the time right now. Right down here I went with a real slow feed and I hit it with a little bit of sandpaper. So that's kind of the finish I'm going to be ended up looking with, unless I hit it with a little bit more sandpaper. But right now we're running at 150 RPMs. 2A at 5/1000th inch per revolution. I can slow her down to 2.5 to get this finished over here. But that's where we're at right now. I don't know if the machine just can't handle that kind of speed, or whether it's my ignorance, one or the other. But anyhow, bear with me. Hopefully we'll get a shaft out of this. Or actually, I think I'm getting the shaft out of this. And this pass here, I'm only taking 1/1000ths right now. Just playing around with the finish. I'll mic this out right there, and I'm down to 126. So I still got a little room to play. Once I get comfortable with the type of finish I can get, I'll probably go ahead and try to take a little bit more off a little faster. Alright, day 2 on getting the shaft. I've tried a few different things. I did find that my tool bits were not dead center. I did have to add a shim underneath of them to get them where they belong to be. I also had some carbide tipped cutters like these, brand new in the box. Didn't try them. Decided I would try it, so I took one and I sharpened it up. And I do remember reading that they're very seldom ever sharp enough for use straight out of the box. So I did put it on my grinder with my green wheel and touch it up, and then hit it with the hone a little bit. And it's doing real good. It's cut down on my chatter. And it is dead center without shims underneath of it. I did check that. A couple of times I did notice that my tailstock quill would get just a little loose. I'd loosen the handle up and I'd give her just a little bit of a turn, and that How that got loose, I don't know, but I've started checking that more often now. Took my compound slide off, cleaned underneath it, cleaned underneath the tool rest, just hunting and searching for anything and everything I could. And basically what I've come down to is sharp cutters. You gotta have sharp cutters. Even with the high-speed steel, I went back and put it on the grinder and touched it up and then honed it, and it would come back and cut good. I did put a little bit more of a radius on it and hope to get a finer finish. And this is part of the finish right here. That's what I got with it so far. It's not mirror perfect, but I mean it is smooth to the touch, and that's all I'm really after. I mean, after all, this is just a tiller. It's going to be in the dirt. So right now I'm down to about 171 thousandths. Oh, I mean, no, 71 thousandths on the shaft. So I got 71 to go, and I think we're doing pretty good. I got my new cutter in there. It's peeling off pretty good. Still running slow speed. I had to give up yesterday. I was chasing my tail, couldn't get rid of chatter, and I found that when I get frustrated, the best thing for me to do is turn things off and walk away from it before I make it worse. So that's what I did. I came back this morning with a fresh start, and so far I'm doing pretty good. Don't know if I'll finish this up today because I'm not in a hurry. I don't want to rush myself because I always make mistakes when I rush. So we'll try to get her down to diameter then. We'll try to get her down to 1. Right now I am turning at 150 RPMs with a feed rate of 0.01 inches per revolution. That's 10 thousandths per revolution. And it is leaving a coarse pattern up there, but I'm going to stop about 10 thousandths shy, probably about 1.010, and then come back with a lot of fine cuts. Try to get all those ridges out. This is a end right here where I slowed down to get a good reading. That's the cut I got with the carbide cutter that's in there now, and that's not too bad. I did find that my tailstop was out. It still needed to come to me about 2 thousandths. How it shifted, it probably shifted when I loosened up this nut, slid this out of the way so I could get my tool bits in here to see if they're on center, and I thought it would go back. So in the process of taking measurements on the end, I found out I was out. So I put my dial indicator back up in there, moved her over 2 thousandths, and now I have a 9/10 thousandths of an inch difference between the ends, and I'm not going to complain about that. For me, that is spectacular. I do have a whole bunch of shavings in my trash can over here. Well, let me get back to work.